Hello fellow songsters, this week I listened to nothing but ELO, or the Electric Light Orchestra, and tried to write a similar pop rock song. Now if you're unfamiliar with the English band, they had some international success with songs like Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long, and Don't Bring Me Down, Gross. And of course, it's a living thing. Da-na-na-na-na-na. It's a terrible thing to lose. All of which can be found on many of their greatest hits compilations. And this week I want to share 5 tips that I learned while listening to ELO, and maybe you can use them to make yourself sound a little bit more like the band. The genre of ELO might be best described as symphonic rock, or maybe progressive pop. Now in the early 1970s, they sort of picked up where the Beatles left off when it came to complicated studio recordings that might be very difficult to perform live, but they persevered and brought that orchestral sound to stages all across the world. Tip number 2, the instrumentation. Electric Light Orchestra didn't use that name in any ironic way. They actually had a violinist and 2 cello players on tour, and that made them stand out from a lot of other bands during that time. Now, granted, it wasn't a full classical orchestra. It was, however, enough to remind you of the importance of traditional string arrangements. So I made sure to include a digital violin and cello in my original song, along with the traditional rock instruments like electric guitar, drums, and bass. Tip number 3, Jeff Lynne's productions. Now, if someone asks if you like ELO, of course you're going to say yes. But if you want to sound like a super fan, also add, I love Jeff Lynne's production and songwriting. Being the lead singer, songwriter, and producer of all of ELO's works, Jeff Lynne went on to produce many other rock and rollers' albums, his peers, his friends, and people he admired. He produced George Harrison's solo album, Cloud 9. You know George Harrison from the Beatles, with the big song like, Got my mind set on you, I got my mind set on you. And he also produced Tom Petty's solo album, Full Moon Fever, with huge, awesome songs like, And I'm free falling. I mean, Jeff Lynne produced and wrote some amazing songs, even outside of ELO. They must have had a fun time recording, writing, and producing, because they called their friends Roy Orbison and Bob Dylan to come down and form this group called the Traveling Wilburys, which is quite possibly the greatest songwriting group ever assembled. Tip number 4, the chords I used. So I took the song Mr. Blue Sky and wrote down every single chord that was used within the song. I assume the key was in F major because that's how it starts and that's how it ends, but I noticed he used some different chords that are not in the traditional F major scale. Most notably, if we're in the key of F major, instead of A minor, he used A major, which sounds brighter and happier. And again, if we're in the key of F major, instead of playing E diminished, he played E flat major, which again sounds brighter and happier. Now, I'm not an expert in music theory, but I know that these chord changes make the song brighter and more unique. Now, if you were to listen to a song in traditional F major scale with no variations, you might find it a little boring. But if you make some changes, if you think outside the scale, you can really add some character to your original songs. Tip number 5, lyrics. Jeff Lynne liked to write about love and loss and everything in between, but he really liked to celebrate the idea of rock and roll in and of itself. And he also celebrated, of course, like classical music, throwing bits of Beethoven and Tchaikovsky at you. But you have to remember that this is all going on in the mid to late 70s, where disco is becoming very popular, so there's a lot of danceable songs in there as well, and having a good time. For the lyrics in my original song, I decided to write about a man who forgets his anniversary, and it's quite comical. It's almost a continuation of last week's song about that crazy wedding that turned into a fist fight. So, without any further ado, here's my brand new original song inspired by ELO, Happy Anniversary. In parentheses, I'm sorry. Please enjoy the following.
I'm just driving along and I'm singing my songs. Don't know when I'm coming home, but I know I got it wrong. So sad, sure why you're mad. And I'm just thinking of you and the words that we threw so carelessly around. And I know you're feeling down. I don't know which way to go. Happy anniversary, my mother said to me. Oh, my mama, sorry I have to go. Never driven so fast, police officer passed. Now he's turning right around, and I think I'm prison bound. And I'm so sorry, please believe me. Happy anniversary, the car laid next to me. Just don't let it ever happen again. Come, babe, on the phone. She wants to be alone. Please, baby, listen to me. I'm coming home. You wait and see. Feel so bad. I'm making you glad. I pulled up to our house to my beautiful spouse. She was suddenly surprised to see tears open my eyes. Oh, I'm so sorry, please believe me. Happy anniversary, the car it made her freeze. Seems as though that she's forgetful as me. Don't get caught in the dust, write it down if you must. Don't be terribly surprised, you'll have tears in your eyes. Don't be late to save the day.
Hey, thanks for listening to my brand new original song, Happy Anniversary, I'm Sorry. It's available over at benaaronmusic.com under the album titled Earth. Well, today I hope you learned a little bit about ELO, and maybe I inspired you to create your own original song. Please like this video if you liked it, and if you want to learn more about the songwriting process, please subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to leave a comment for me to sing, like these beautiful comments from last week's video. I was getting to it, then the song ended. Holy crap-tastic, this one's fantastic. Good call on using the tenor-sold stereo card. Been waiting for this one, you know, no fear. Had a bit of Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh, Queen, excellent choice. Mamma mia, you will rock us. Excellent Queen style prog pop song. Yes, you caught the drama of the operatic style. Wayne's World approved and a kick-ass Queen inspired song.